have an update first at noon. Honolulu police now say that remains found last night on Oahu's North Shore are not human. They were found on the shoreline at Ehukai Beach just before 6 o'clock yesterday. The discovery comes 4 days after human remains were also recovered from Keiki Beach. That's only about 200 yards away. The medical examiner is still working to determine if those remains are connected to the two missing teens, 17-year-old Samantha Chun and 18-year-old Joseph Fujioka. The families are still holding on to hope that they are alive and are encouraging the public to continue keeping an eye out for them. Well, fire crews in Southern California are getting the upper hand on a wildfire that erupted yesterday morning north of downtown Los Angeles, threatening more than 30,000 residents. As of this morning, the fire was 14% contained. Andres Gutierrez has the latest from Castilla, California.
Fire crews are making progress, battling the wind-driven flames tearing through bone-dry vegetation in California's latest large wildfire.
I can't officially say that it has been stopped in its perimeter yet, but it's slowed way down. It's looking really good.
The Hughes fire started Wednesday morning and quickly erupted to more than 10,000 acres, about 16 square miles, forcing around 30,000 people to evacuate their homes and businesses.
Fire crews say they have a better handle on this fire compared to the ones that devastated the Pacific Palisades and Altadena earlier this month, killing more than 24 people and wiping out entire neighborhoods.
The difference on these fires, we're sitting at 35, 40 mile an hour winds. I was on the Palisades fire that first night and I had wind gusts up 80 to 100 miles an hour and they were relentless. It's like fighting a hurricane with fire attached to it.
This is obviously near a much more populated area and next to one of the busiest freeways in the world.
Another fire came dangerously close to drivers on the 405 freeway on the west side of Los Angeles Wednesday night, forcing anxious residents to start preparing to flee if necessary.
I don't understand what's happening. We can't get a break.
But crews quickly got that one under control.
The commander of this incident feels very confident that this fire is not going to endanger anyone.
A red flag warning for Southern California has been extended through Friday morning, but fire crews may catch a break. Rain is in the forecast for the weekend. Andres Gutierrez, CBS News, Castilla, California.
President Trump has used his first week in office implementing executive orders to carry out his tougher border policies. And he's carrying through with his campaign promise to use the military to help secure the border. Natalie Brand has the latest from Washington, D.C.
CBS News has learned the Trump administration is considering sending as many as 10,000 U.S. troops to the southern border and potentially using military bases to hold migrants awaiting deportation. The Pentagon has already said around 1,500 troops have begun to deploy to help secure the U.S.-Mexico border.
This was a gross miscarriage of common sense to allow people to come in.
Stepped-up enforcement operations across the country have led to nearly 500 undocumented migrant arrests.
And they will be sent home. And those flights are already underway this morning.
Community leaders are warning migrants to be prepared.
If you are deported, you should already have paperwork set so we know where your children need to go. You need to have those legal documents, those powers of attorneys.
A federal judge in Seattle hears arguments today on lawsuits challenging President Trump's executive order seeking to end birthright citizenship. While here on Capitol Hill, Trump allies are working to double down with new legislation.
His historic executive order to end birthright citizenship marks a critical step forward, and now with the Birthright Citizenship Act of 2025, we can solidify these reforms into lasting law.
Attorneys general from more than 20 states suing to block changing birthright citizenship argue it's settled law protected by the Constitution's 14th Amendment. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
Meanwhile, Hawaii's Attorney General, along with 10 other attorneys general from around the nation, issued a joint statement today saying state and local law enforcement cannot be commandeered for federal immigration enforcement. Now, the AGs who were responding to a memorandum from a Trump appointee at the Department of Justice said, right now, these vague threats are empty words on paper, but, quote, our states will not hesitate to respond if these words become illegal actions. Meanwhile, local leaders fear programs supporting Native Hawaiian housing, education, and health are in jeopardy after President Trump swept away diversity, equity, and inclusion programs. Less than 2 weeks ago, Hawaiian leaders were part of the final conference organized by the White House Initiative for Asian Americans, Native Hawaiians, and Pacific Islanders. It was eliminated along with similar programs for Black and Hispanic Americans by President Trump on his first day in office.
These are very real and serious threats that will require some legal maneuvering to sort of ward off the current administration's dismantling of these programs.
Not only does he not see us, it sends a really horrible message that we don't matter.
America is back on the merit system, which doesn't judge someone based on how they look, where they come from, their socioeconomic stance, but what can they produce for the country? That's the way it should be. It's pretty simple. Stop talking about race.
Many Hawaiian programs are established by law, so President Trump will need the support of Congress if he tries to eliminate them. Here at home, the brothers who were wrongfully convicted in the Dana, Ireland murder case have now filed a federal lawsuit. Albert Ian and Sean Schweitzer accuse Hawaii County, along with current and former police officers, of civil rights violations, claiming law enforcement conspired to frame them for the 1991 rape and murder. Their convictions were overturned in 2023. The brothers already have a civil case moving through state court to get compensation for their time served.
They've hidden evidence. They pursued the case knowing full well that these individuals were not the individuals that were, or individual that was involved in this matter. They had obtained not one scintilla of evidence that directed them to our clients, yet they still pursued it.
Last year, DNA connected Albert Laurel Jr. to the crime. He was questioned by police and released, then later killed himself. The Hawaiian Humane Society is criticizing the sentence for a woman convicted of animal cruelty. Dog breeder Heather Hinkle pleaded no contest to the misdemeanor after she was caught on video in September hitting a dog and hanging it in the air with a leash in Waipahu. Yesterday, Hinkle received a 1-year deferred sentence and a $500 fine, and the judge ordered the dog to be returned to Hinkle's care. At her sentencing yesterday, attorneys argued about the severity of her actions, and Hinkle explained that she was disciplining the dog after he ran into the street.
He usually comes back, but he thought we were playing. And I saw that car zoom by, and I feared for his life. And I can tell you that this has been extremely hard on my family, and I can promise that this would never happen again in the future.
This was open hand discipline, several taps to the head. At no time, and this was recorded, the audio was recorded, at no time did Open ever cry out or yelp in pain.
The dog was taken to the vet a couple of days after the incident. The vet did say that the dog didn't have any injuries at that time, but he also said if there were injuries, they would have healed already.
That's actually not what he said.
I'm sorry?
That's not what he said. He said it's possible that if he sustained injuries,
if there were injuries,
that it could have healed over. But this is a couple of days.
I understand that defendant needed to discipline her dog, but I believe that the action by the defendant was over the limits.
The Humane Society said in a statement the court prioritizes property rights over protecting vulnerable animals. The nonprofit supports a pending state bill that would increase penalties for animal cruelty violations. Well, video has been released of a frightening armed robbery at a Kunia vape shop. 2 men wielding guns were caught on camera ransacking the store at around 7:40 Tuesday night. 2 employees were working and were not hurt. Shortly after, Honolulu police officers arrested 3 men in Nanakuli. Charges are pending. And heads up if you're flying inter-island tonight out of Honolulu. A runway closure will begin for paving and drainage work. Work is set to start at 8 tonight and is expected to last until March 5th. Other runways will be used to pick up the slack, but we're told those who are traveling during peak hours may experience some delays. Check with your airlines for any updates.
Well, happy Thursday, everybody. Of course, we're still tracking VOG over near Hawaii Island. I want to show you our H&N exclusive VOG forecast as we're going throughout the rest of this afternoon. You can see most of the VOG that's coming from the volcano with the eruption yesterday is going to be contained over near Hawaii Volcanoes National Park. And the front that we've been tracking over the past couple of days has stalled in between Maui and Hawaii Island. And that because of that, we're seeing southerly winds over the eastern half of the state, blowing the VOG away from the national park and up towards Hilo Bay and the Hamakua coast. So we're going to continue to watch this very closely. Coming up in my first alert full forecast, I'll give you a look at the radar and satellite and talk about what you can expect for this very comfortable weekend.
Searching for eggs? It might not be so over easy. I'm Dylan Ancheta with the effects of an ongoing egg shortage.
Welcome back. The nation is experiencing an egg shortage and Hawaii consumers are feeling it too. Shelves at some big box stores are empty and local restaurants are being impacted by rising prices. Dylan Ancheta has more.
Sometimes the simple things in life are taken for granted, like having eggs on your plate at breakfast. Consumers around Hawaii are feeling the impacts of a national egg shortage.
A couple of times I went, the shelf was empty. And then the price is high, but, we need eggs, in cooking and baking.
Avian flu has ravaged egg-laying flocks at farms across the country, and now stores are struggling to keep up with the demand. Costco Lihue recently put out a no eggs sign. Other stores around the state limiting the number of cartons per customer.
We've had a run of eggs. We've had to put all of our customers on the Hawaiian Islands on allocation because rightfully understanding the retailers have been trying to fill the voids from the eggs they were getting in from the mainland.
Egg farmers say ideally for a healthy supply, it roughly breaks down to 1 egg-laying hen per person. Factoring in Hawaii's population of about 1.4 million and a large visitor industry, the number of birds locally is nowhere near that, hovering around an estimated 700,000 according to Censor. Consumers are scrambling to find their eggs in grocery stores and local restaurants. For some local chains, the outlook of keeping their prices steady might not be so sunny side up. At Big City Diner, they say their partnerships with local egg vendors has kept their supply fairly steady, but increasing costs are making it difficult to sustain.
Any cost fluctuation right now, we as the company just absorb that all. And we're not passing that on to the guests yet. You know, there may be a time when we have to.
And that time could be closer than anticipated.
I think we're pretty close, actually, yeah. In a guess, I would say it looks like a month, maybe.
While raising prices is a difficult decision, the diner says they're grateful for loyal customers who support local.
All of our communities have supported all of our stores and have always turned out when we needed them the most. And we are super blessed to have that kind of support constantly over the years.
As the hunt for eggs continue, farms like Waialua Fresh have strict biosecurity rules in place and non-essential personnel aren't allowed on property. But customers are still flocking to their roadside shop to scoop up whatever supply they can get.
We would just ask our customers to be patient with us and with, I guess, the egg industry.
Dylan Ancheta, Hawaii News Now.
Let's take you live to the Big Island now, where the eruption at Kilauea is on pause again. This is a live look right now from Halemaumau crater. The eruption that began on December 23rd is now on pause for the 5th time. It ended at around 4:30 this morning. The USGS says the last eruption had small dome fountains shooting up to about 33 feet high. Hey, Drew.
Hey, Ashley. Stick around. Coming up after the break, I'll give you a look at our first alert weather headlines. We've got cold weather out there and some high surf.
First Alert Weather with Drew Davis.
Well, happy Thursday, everybody. Almost to Aloha Friday. Let's take a look at our First Alert weather headlines out there. We've got cold weather, at least for Hawaii standards. It's cool out there. We woke up with some cold temperature or low temperatures in the low 60s and upper 50s in some spots. We also have high surf that we're going to take a look at coming up here in a little bit. But I do want to show you our hour-by-hour forecast out there. You can see temperatures very comfortable, 76 degrees. Southerly Kona winds around 9 miles per per hour. We were seeing some cool north air filtering in behind the cold front yesterday, and expanding this out throughout the rest of this evening. You can see temperatures are going to only get up to around 77, 78 degrees for a high temperature today, and then we'll be cooling off into the low 60s once again tonight. You might need an extra blanket as you're going to bed again tonight. Your first alert radar and satellite out there. Of course, it's relatively dry, but you can very clearly see where that front that we were tracking throughout all of yesterday has stalled. Again, this is the tail end of a very weak cold front. It is right in between Maui and Hawaii Island. It's relatively sunny over the rest of the island chain, some cloud cover over the northern portions of Hawaii Island and along the Hamakua coast as well. And earlier we were seeing some light showers just along that cold front, but it is relatively quiet in terms of rainfall right now. Giving you a quick look at our first alert weather pattern. Of course, as we're going throughout the next couple of days, we're going to be relatively dry with this cool and dry air across the state. But you can see behind me that there is a band of moisture associated with that front. That's going to start moving a little bit closer to the island chain. This is going to be mostly for Hawaii Island. I'm going to step out of the way of the timestamp so you can see this a little bit clearly. This is Saturday early morning. You're still seeing some moisture associated with the front and light showers possible over Maui, and even moving over closer to Oahu as we're going into Saturday and Sunday. But overall, it's going to be relatively sunny out there this weekend. We'll see a couple of showers. This is not as much rainfall as what we were seeing over the past couple of days with that cold front. Taking a look, we do have high surf advisories on only north-facing shores. That's for Kauai, Oahu, Molokai, the north-facing shores of Maui. Right now, that doesn't include Hawaii Island or Lanai, and it's going to be the case until 6 p.m. on Friday. Your surf and shoreline forecast, north-facing shores for this afternoon. That's when we're expecting the swell to peak, to be around 12 to 16 feet. West-facing shores around 7 to 10. Small out there in town with some box jellies out there, and east-facing shores a little bit choppy. Their first alert 7-day forecast. Beautiful weather expected over the next couple of days. A little bit more cloud cover tomorrow. Low temperatures in the low 60s, and we're only going to get up to around 78, 79 degrees for a high temperature.
So to come, Casey Lund takes us on the dance floor and introduces us to a group that's looking to share their love of ballroom dancing. That's in 2 minutes. Everybody, let's start off our Good News Now segment with something adorable. This tiny sloth named Juno, who lives at the Cincinnati Zoo, loves to eat, that's corn. The 2-year-old two-toed sloth sleeps up to 15 hours a day, so it's a treat for her keepers to catch her with her eyes open, and certainly a treat for Juno to have some corn.
And an unexpected crossover in the cookie world. Oreo and singer Post Malone have partnered on a new flavor and design for a limited time. In the company's 110-year history, it's the first Oreo cookie with a swirled cream, salted caramel, and shortbread flavors sandwiched between one chocolate and one golden cookie. The cookie designs feature musical objects like vinyl records and guitar picks, and they go on sale starting February 3rd.
That is random. And a group of local performers, they're looking to share their passion and bring the art of ballroom dancing to Hawaii.
Casey Lund shows us his moves.
I'm scared.
Aloha from the Aloha Ballroom Company. This small but really beautiful studio space is celebrating its 1-year anniversary coming up on February 1st. A big party. That's what I came down here to tell folks all about this morning on Sunrise. But I also got a little instruction which I quickly learned I desperately needed. Oh!
Now side to the left.
Now this is where I struggle, Tony.
Side tap, side tap, side. Well, that's close.
It's close enough. We'll reset.
Jump.
Tony Meredith has been dancing his entire life. He grew up right here in the islands, but his passion for this art form has taken him all over the world.
It's been an amazing, incredible journey as far as like competing. I grew up in Hawaii when I was younger and then moved to the mainland and started hitting the competitions, and I've been to like all over England, Germany, Australia, Japan, competing, and finally won the United States Championships back in 1995. And it's been incredible, an incredible journey of dance. Had a great partner, Melanie LaPatin. We've been dancing for maybe 40 years or so.
I want to talk just a little bit about what you wanted to do when you created this space. You've obviously had an esteemed career, traveled the world.
Yeah.
Why bring it back to Hawaii? Has the response been good? Are people interested in ballroom?
Oh, the response has been terrific.
Yeah.
Really, I think part of my journey is that I love to connect. I love to connect people to music. I love to connect people to people, and I love connecting the talent that is here, the vibrant talent of the dancers in Hawaii. And so that is part of like this small space here. It has really been the hub for so many people to come through with their creativity and the possibilities of what they can create in their dance and movement. And I'm really happy to share that.
And headlining that big event on February 1st, RuPaul Drag Race Season 15 winner and local drag superstar, Sasha Colby.
February 1st, we're going to be at the Waikiki Beach Marriott. The show is going to start at 6. Well, doors open at 6, the show starts at 7, and there's another second show at 8:30, which is Sasha Colby.
Pretty well-known local drag queen, local artist from Hawaii.
Yeah, and world-renowned.
Before Colby takes the stage, though, world champion dancers will put on a show.
We have the top world professionals. They've won competitions around the United States and abroad, England and things. Yegor and Tatiana Novikov. The style that they do is smooth, which is like Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers, where they can open up. So the traditional way is to stay in a closed hold. But in the smooth category, they open up and they expand and they do turns and free spins. And it's really beautiful to watch.
Again, that big celebration happening February 1st at the Waikiki Beach. 3, 2, 1. Details on your screen. Again, that celebration happening February 1st at the Waikiki Beach Marriott. You want to get there right when the doors open at 6 p.m. That first dance performance with Yegor and Tatiana happening at 7. Sasha Colby takes the stage a little after 8 o'clock. If you'd like tickets, we have a link to do that at hawaiinewsnow.com. Reporting from the Aloha Ballroom Company, I'm Casey Lund. We'll send things back to you for now.
Thank you, Case. That video of him dancing was something.
He's got some moves. Can you dance, Ashley? I have 2 left feet.
No, not at all. Just like hula during May Day, in high school, but nothing like that. I'm very envious of people who have like rhythm like that.
I would just get like embarrassed. My face would turn blood red. It's not for me.
You have other talents, Drew Davis. All right, let's leave you with one last look outside at Aloha Tower. Beautiful Aloha Thursday. Thanks for watching This Is Now. We're going to have more news first at 4.